Let us introduce the concepts of sine and cosine using a right-angle triangle. In this right-angle triangle, there is a special angle, this angle here, gamma, which is 19 degrees. There is also a special name for side C, which is the side opposite to the 19-degree angle, and this side C is called the hypotenuse. So the definitions now for the sine of an angle is as follows. The sine of an angle is the ratio of the opposite perpendicular side divided by the hypotenuse. And the cosine of an angle is defined as the near perpendicular to that angle divided by the hypotenuse. Let us use these definitions to find the sine of angle alpha. This will be the ratio of the opposite perpendicular to angle alpha, which is side A, divided by the hypotenuse. The cosine of angle alpha will be the ratio of the near perpendicular to that angle, side B, divided by the hypotenuse. Of course, you can also find the sine of beta and the cosine of beta. In trigonometry, it's important to know and remember the values of certain unique quantities. The sine of 0 degrees is equal to 0, and the cosine of 0 degrees is equal to 1. The sine of 19 degrees is equal to 1, and the cosine of 19 degrees is equal to 0. Let us apply some of the identities that we've seen. Let us find the sum of the cosine square of angle alpha plus sine square of angle alpha. What would that sum equal to? Earlier, we defined angle alpha. We defined the sine and the cosine for angle alpha. So the cosine turned out to be b over c, and then we take a square. And the sine was defined as a over c, and then we take a square. So now we are gonna take this, and I'm gonna write it as b squared divided over c squared plus a squared divided over c squared. What do you observe here? We observe that we need to add two fractions. In order to add these fractions must have the same denominator. In this particular case, these fractions have the same denominator. c squared. So by performing this addition, we end up with b squared plus a squared divided by c squared. However, we know that sine squared plus cosine squared is equal to 1. This is a trigonometric identity. So if we take this and apply it to this analysis, we end up with the following. We end up with b squared plus a squared equals to c squared. So what we are finding out? We're finding out that the sum of the squares of the perpendicular sides is equal to the square of the hypotenuse. This is a very interesting result. And this result has its own special name. Can you guess the name? We call this the Pythagorean theorem. And of course, you can work and perform this analysis using angle beta instead of angle alpha, and try to see if you can end up at the same result.